There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonko table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonko table, the table that will make their dreams come true. Yo, everyone. That is the voice of your Yonko host, Dr. J. Saturni, and that is right, we are having another voyage into the realm of One Piece. But this time, we're not talking about One Piece Chronicles. We're not talking about an old arc or a past arc. We're here to go on a brand new voyage into uncharted territory with One Piece Film Red. That's right, folks. One Piece Film Red has finally hit the Western Hemisphere, and we have a lot to say about it. We got the good, we got the bad. We'll get into that. We'll get into that for sure. And just, what do we expect going into the film? Is it canon? Is it not? There's a lot to digest with One Piece Film Red. But with me, as always, to digest One Piece material is fellow Yonko, Grandmaster Hoob. Grandmaster, is the One Piece real?
The One Piece! The One Piece is real!
Can we get much higher?
So high. I can't do it. The One Piece is real. And it's real within this film.
Okay. So let me ask you, what were your expectations going in to watching this movie? Like, do you watch One Piece films? Do you keep? I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of them.
Okay. To be honest, I probably only sat through one One Piece film in its entirety, that being One Piece Strong World.
Okay, that's a fan favorite.
Right, and I am one of those guys who I'm really iffy when it comes to anime films, because I'm kind of like, is it canon?
Oh, you can't just have fun with the movie. Is it canon? How did you fit into the story?
I mean, I can. I've done it in the past. For example, my biggest credit is the 3 original Part 1 Naruto films. Love those.
Okay. Ew. Those last two were bad.
I really love them. I I do believe I saw the last of Naruto Shippuden in theaters.
You saw that in theaters? Okay.
Pretty sure I did, and obviously that one is canon, so I thoroughly enjoyed what was given there. The Dragon Ball Super films, I've seen those consistently. Those are consistently canon as well.
So like Battle of Gods,
Resurrection F,
okay,
Broly, Superhero. I've seen them all. Mugen Train, obviously canon as well.
Oh yeah, that was a movie. Okay.
Right. And I guess with One Piece, I just been kind of inconsistent as far as, if I want to invest my time, because One Piece world is so expansive as it is. It's a lot to get into that world and keep up with it. So it's like, do I have time for what is essentially an hour and 40 minutes of filler? So I haven't dabbled too much. I've seen clips and whatnot, but going into this film, I was just like, well, they said Shanks has a daughter. They must be trying to make that canon.
Since when? Since when does she have a daughter? Says who?
Exactly. I was like, how y'all gonna make this work? Shanks is a huge, prolific character in the world of One Piece. And then on top of that too, I remember reading it was gonna be music heavy, and like the new character Uta was gonna be a singer. And I was like, okay, so what is this? One Piece musical, Mamma Mia, except it's Dada Dia with daddy issues and Shanks. I don't know. I was like, I don't know what is gonna come of this movie. So I came in relatively blank slate, really blank. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll say that I went through this phase in undergrad where I was just so obsessed with trying to make sure I watched every anime movie from any property that I was a fan of before. So like all the Naruto movies. I'm like, I'm gonna watch all of them. I'm gonna watch all of them. They're probably sick with animation. They got cool fights, and that was all I was really going into those type of movies for. So I did it for Naruto. I did it for DBZ in high school, where I watched all the old movies, before Battle of Gods, like your Broly movies, your cooler movies. But in undergrad, it was Naruto. It was the Bleach movies, and One Piece. And I remember One Piece specifically in terms of their films, they were so forgettable. These films were like, and again, that was kind of like the mentality of a lot of these anime movies back in the day. I feel like the 2010s, around the time Battle of Gods came out, it kind of ushered in this new age. Ooh, we're gonna talk about new ages, but it really did. Battle of Gods ushered in a new age of like, what should the standard be from now on when it comes to anime movies based off of anime or manga properties, right? So people just didn't want to go to the movie theaters and encounter like this one-off villain that's going to be mentioned in this movie and killed off and never seen again in the story. A lot of these movies in the 2010s were trying to like get the original authors involved in those works as well, whether they're writing it, they're directing it, they're giving a rough draft of what it should be, or hell, even like writing some of the characters in those movies in the 2010s. You turn back to pre-2010s, oh my god, the One Piece movies are just so, what a villain they go. I literally, the way I could describe it, the Straw Hats get to an island, they have a blast, big bad on the villain says, the One Piece is real, and Luffy has to Gomu Gomu no hit their ass, and then gone. All right, on to the next island. Hope you had fun. Goodbye.
It's crazy that one of these movies go back to 2000. March 4th,
yes,
2000 was the first one, and in that movie, it is only Luffy, Zoro, Nami, and Usopp. That's crazy to me.
Pre-Sanji. And some of these movies, like, they're not long. They're like extended episodes sometimes. I think one of the One Piece movies was like 40 minutes, I think, or 30 minutes.
I'm looking at some of these lists. They didn't break 60 minutes until like the third movie or the fourth movie.
Right.
Yeah, the fourth movie. They did not break an hour.
And the thing is, that was the norm. Like, that's not the exception. And the way I know that is you look back on a lot of like, the Naruto movies and even the DBZ ones, especially the DBZ ones, they didn't break 60 minutes. Like the first Broly movie, if you're talking about the original like set of DBZ movies before Battle of Gods, Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan, is the only film to break 60 minutes. Is the only one. And I think there's 13 original Dragon Ball Z films. That's the only one that breaks an hour.
That's kind of crazy.
It is very crazy. So right, you get to the 2010s, right? And now there's this new shift. There's a new standard. I think starting with Strong World, that's the movie that you mentioned that you saw. That's where Oda starts becoming more involved. Strong World's a fan favorite because that is the only film to date, including Film Red, that is the only film to date that Oda directed and wrote out of all the One Piece films.
He's credited as the writer. He's not credited as director.
My bad.
But he
directly
wrote,
written.
Right. He's sole writing credit here.
Right. He wrote the characters, he wrote the story, there was even a special chapter in the manga that and I don't remember which chapter it was, but there was a special chapter that I think it mentioned it either mentioned Shiki or the villain from
Shiki's canon, right? Strong World introduced a canonical villain.
Right, exactly. So for a lot of people, Strong World is like the one true canon One Piece film. I don't want to get into canon too much right now. We'll save that towards the end because we still haven't talked about the actual film Red itself. But yeah, I just wanted to give that mindset because even though I watched Strong World, I watched Film Z, I didn't watch Stampede, not because of I didn't want to. Like, I still kind of want to watch it, but it's kind of like, I'm not going out of my way to watch it. And I had a couple opportunities to watch it as well. But I was like, I don't know. I'll watch it when I watch it. But for Film Red, I don't know, like the promotional material for Film Red, I was thinking this was going to be the worst One Piece film. I honestly,
really,
in terms of since Strong World, since Oda's involvement, because a lot of people like Stampede, Strong World, and
Stampede
Film
is
Z.
straight fan service. I get it.
Right.
Yeah.
So in terms of those films, I thought Film Red was going to be the worst. Just because, outside of the fact that, it was being promoted as this was the film with Shanks. It's going to be about Shanks. And, it's called Red because of red-haired Shanks. And we want to know more about him. Ooh.
Brilliant marketing.
Brilliant marketing.
It's about Shanks? No way.
No. And it's like, so they're advertising it like that. But once they started showing like actual like scenes from the movie, nothing was wowing me. Like the animation was kind of stiff in the scenes that they would show. Nothing crazy would be happening. I wouldn't see Luffy going Gomu Gomu no whatever. And it's not that he needs to do that, but nothing was getting me hyped to want to see this movie. There wasn't anything, and this movie was being advertised a lot compared to the other films.
No, this movie did the unheard of thing. Did you see the Times Square One Piece takeover?
Yes, I did. Yes.
That was for this film.
That was for this film.
That's
right.
Crazy.
The marketing for this was through the roof.
Every light up billboard in Times Square featured One Piece for like 10 minutes, I think.
They I don't know if you ever seen them. They're really popular in Japan. Those 3D billboards where
yes,
it kind of looks like
it's
jumping. They had a Luffy like that in I think in Times Square. I think it was in Times Square as well.
Oh, really?
I think so. I remember seeing it. It was one of those 3D ones where it looked like he was coming out from the billboard. But yeah, like they went all out in the marketing, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the most this film grossed the most in terms of previous One Piece films opening weekends.
I think so.
It overshadowed all of them. Stampede, Gold. Oh, I forgot about Gold. Film Gold. Wow. Stampede, Film Gold, Film Z, and Strong World. It was huge, and that goes to show, well, that's what happens when you push your marketing team and have billboards in Times Square.
I think just people are now recognizing the power of One Piece to where they're
recognizing it's real, you could say.
If we put the money and time into the marketing in other territories, we'll get a good return. I think they're gonna get a good return here.
I think they will, because this is just, the film's been out for a while already, like maybe 2 months or so.
Right.
In Japan and in some other Eastern countries. Like I know it got out in India really early, and I was like, wow, India? That's okay.
Get everything quick.
I guess so. So yeah, it recently came out over here on the Western side. But getting into the film itself, quick thoughts. I think this is the best One Piece film. I think it's the best one. Now again, I haven't seen Stampede, and I've heard good things about Stampede in the sense of there's a lot of fan service in Stampede, and fan service is good, but in terms of story and the character, and for this film to stand out, the music The music, this film was 10 out of 10 by One Piece standards. I think it overshadows Strong World. It overshadows Film Z and Film Gold. I don't see anyone standing Film Gold, but it overshadows Film Gold. And I guess I'll watch Stampede, but I don't think Stampede's going to overshadow this. This is the best One Piece film. And we'll get into why as we talk about the film, but that's my general thoughts like going into it right now.
I mean, I'm with you. I really don't have much to compare. I've only seen Strong World. But walking out of this film, I was like, this was really good. I was really kind of blown away. Just, I think a lot went into the animation, the soundtrack, as you said, and I think it just really did a good job at capturing what makes One Piece so great. And we're going to get into it, but I thoroughly enjoyed this film. I really did. I really enjoyed it. I was surprised. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did. They did it. They
did. I mean, you said it yourself. That soundtrack, my God, every song slapped.
Every song slaps, yeah.
And you know, there was this fear of like, okay, this is kind of gonna be like a musical type of thing with One Piece. Like, I'm not expecting them to be like all in unison, breaking out in song like in some Disney film. I wasn't expecting that, but you could tell in the trailers there was going to be a heavy emphasis in music. And because the character who we're going to talk about now, Uta, right? She's the poster character of the film, Uta, like right next to, of course, Luffy and Shanks. You know, she's the pop star. She's the one singing these songs. And there was this fear going in thinking, oh man, if this is a musical, she's going to be singing pop songs. And it's like, how long can you tolerate the same type of J-pop song? Like, she's going to be singing at the 10-minute mark, the same song with small variations at the 30-minute mark, and then at the 60-hour mark, and then the 40-minute mark. I was shocked to see every song was unique and different from the last, to where you cannot say any of those songs are the same compared to the other. Are they all still J-pop? Yes. But they are distinct. They
were interwoven into the film. So as you said, it wasn't like they're breaking out into song. They kind of just sometimes set the mood for the scene.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And it worked really well. As you said, they were each unique. So the scenes that they did play into were all very unique and different. So yeah, man, I don't know. Moving forward, I mean, I don't think they can repeat this success.
I don't think so.
I mean, this film centers around the idea of a pop star. So I think I don't think they can. I don't think they should. This just needs to be its own special thing, because what they did here was great. Her name, the singing voice for Uta, her name is Ado. She's a pop singer from Japan, only 20 years old. She did all the songs.
Wow, really?
Yeah, right.
Crazy.
Right.
And I'm sure that she's not the same person that voiced Uta during like the dialogue segments, right?
No, but whoever voiced Uta, her name is Kaori Nazuka, did a great job. As far as I can tell, fantastic job too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really judge. I feel all Japanese voice actors do a great job. I think they understand the assignment. Never once am I like, damn, they did not do a good job voicing their language.
There was only one time I could have ever said that, wow, I think this is a very poor choice for a voice actor. Unrelated to One Piece, it was Asta from Black Clover, the main character. Good God. Maybe he got better later on, but I could not stand his voice for those first initial episodes of Black Clover, and it made me drop the series. But that's a conversation for another day.
Now, real quick, I do want to say, since we're talking about Uta's voice actors, this girl who did the English dub, we didn't watch it in the dub, we watched subbed. I just like to point out her like stage name is Amalie, right?
The English voice,
The English
actress?
dub. She did the speaking and the singing for Uta in English.
Okay.
When they announced that she was doing this, I was shook because I know who that is. She literally, you can find her music on like Apple Music and Spotify. She does anime covers, like when those songs don't get released. For example,
like an English version. If it doesn't get an official version, she does it.
yes. So, for example, gosh darn it, Smile Bomb from Yu Yu Hakusho. You can't find, running in a crowd through a faceless town.
She did that.
No, she didn't do the original. However, I was put on to Amalie when I was looking for that song, and all I could find was her cover. And her cover is fantastic. She does a great job. She does, to what I know, she has plenty. She did Smile Bomb. She did Freckles from Rurouni Kenshin.
I'm not a fan, but
I brush against the freckles on my face.
Don't like it.
But I really want to hurt me now.
No.
The point is, it's cool that they got her to do the voice of Uta because she's been out here repping for the anime community forever.
That is cool.
That is so cool. So I wanted to throw that out. We didn't watch the dub, but shout out to her. I imagine, I hope she did a really good job. I would love to hear the covers she did for this soundtrack. I guess the dub for the soundtrack. I would love to hear it. So just wanted to throw that out there. So
no, that's that's an interesting fun fact. It's nice when a lot of these dubbing companies reach out to the community in a way and bring on some of that talent. They recognize, hey, this person creates content kind of related to what we're gonna do for this next project. Let's bring them along. Let's see what they can do. So that's actually kind of cool. I'm glad that they did that with that singer. Yeah, I guess, jumping into the film itself, the Straw Hats are on this new so timeline wise, right? Jinbei is part of the crew in this.
Okay, Jinbei's part, which I'm glad Jinbei was here.
I'm glad Jinbei was here because it's one of those things where, the anime is currently going through Wano, right? But the anime even has acknowledged Jinbei is a Straw Hat. Like, he is official. There's no like, oh, we gotta wait till the arc is finished. No, he is a Straw Hat now. It's done. So going into this film, seeing Jinbei part of the crew, it's like, oh wow, he's really here. He's in your poster right behind you. He is a Straw Hat.
He's right there, right? He's a Straw Hat, right?
And let me tell you, I don't know if it's because we're just not used to him yet, but when the Straw Hats are fighting, right? I loved every scene with Jinbei. I just like seeing his moves. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm not used to him yet. It's just so great to see Jinbei putting in work with the Straw Hats as a crew member.
We're just giving props to Jinbei, and then we'll get back to the plot. Yes, Jinbei is here. And he's just a great character. I love Jinbei. Yeah, I got nothing. But he's also a powerhouse, so it was cool to see him kind of live up. It's the top 5 now. There's 5 of them that we watch out for.
The powerhouses?
The powerhouses. Luffy, Zoro, Sanji. Well, technically, Luffy, Zoro, Jinbei, Sanji, Robin. I think that's how it goes.
Okay. No Frankie in there?
No, talking bounties, man.
Bounties. You're right. Yeah.
Those are the top 5 bounties. Yeah.
Wow. No, that's definitely true. That's
actually
definitely
Sanji
true.
might be lower than Robin. I can't remember, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't remember the updated bounty list.
No, yeah, it's cool. Jinbei's here, which means timeline wise,
post Wano.
right.
And that comes with certain expectations.
I wasn't.
I called it, but we'll save it.
We'll save it.
But post Wano and the Straw Hats, they end up landing on this musical island called Kaglia?
Oh God, no, Alagia.
It started with a C, didn't it?
It started with an E. Alagia.
Oh, it was an E. It was an E. You're right. Alagia.
Yeah.
which is what, a country that a music
It's a music
kingdom.
country, yeah. But they're here for a concert.
They're here for a concert.
They're here
For
for Uta.
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 UTA. That sounded a little familiar to another chant. USA.
Oh, okay. Got it.
But either way, yeah, Uta's an established character apparently in the One Piece mythos already before going into the film, because she is world renowned. You know, she's known, like she is the most famous pop singer, probably the only pop singer in the world of One Piece, and her music reaches all across the ocean. Frankie, Brooks, Sanji, they're all fans of Uta.
Chopper's a huge. They're all fans. Everybody.
They all know her. They all know
Yeah.
her. It's one of those things where it's like, at some point in between the crew sailing from Dressrosa to what, Whole Cake or Zoe, whichever they went to first, they've turned on a video transponder snail and they're like, hey, look, did you hear that new Uta song? Listen to this.
Well, I think it's really cool too. They even tie in. They ask Brooke, like, "What do you know?" He's like, "Even the Soul King knows that Uta is like the greatest voice right now, because he was in the music industry too."
Right, during that
So-
2-year period.
Right. So I
Um,
cool tie-in.
It is. It's really nice that they did that. So yeah, the Straw Hats are here. They're here for the concert. Uta puts on a show, and then we basically get introduced to like one of the first songs in the soundtrack, which is Genesis.
New Genesis.
New Genesis. Definitely a banger. Definitely a banger.
They're all bangers.
No. They're all bangers. This one.
This is a great one to start with.
This was a great one to start with, because at first I was thinking, oh, wow, that song was really good. We're probably not going to hear another one for like until the end of the movie or the middle of the movie. There were songs like at bare minimum, like every 20 minutes, every 20-ish minutes or so, I want to say there was like a new song that would play, and it would be sung by Uta, the character. So it was just cool seeing that that music bit play in the beginning. And of course, you and I even noticed early on in the movie, everyone in the Straw Hats was giving their 2 cents on, oh yeah, Uta's so cool, and Sanji's flaunting over Uta. But we noticed, like, why hasn't Luffy said anything? Why hasn't Luffy said something about Uta? He's just over there eating food, minding his own business. He hasn't said a single word in this movie yet. What's his deal? What's going on? And what's the big reveal with Luffy?
He knows Uta so much to run up on stage in the middle of her set and say, "I thought that was you." So one, Uta's the biggest pop star in the world, and everybody knows about her. And Luffy hears the name Uta, doesn't think a thing. And then
Not
he
a
sees her.
single.
Right, nothing clicks in his head until he sees her. And it's like, oh, that's Uta. Uta, it's me, Luffy. Yeah, oh, Luffy, how do you know Uta? This is Shanks' daughter.
Did you like that? Like, can you believe that from Luffy? Like, because like there's stuff with like Luffy's past that's like, well, I guess if you never ask, you're never gonna know.
That has been his shtick. It's either he forgot or nobody ever asked. No one bothered to ask. So I do believe it.
Did Shanks ever had a kid, Luffy?
Yeah, he had a daughter. I believe it. It's fine. I was like, I could just tell that's where they were going to, because he was the only one not freaking out. But yeah, he opens the door to the idea that this is Shanks' daughter, and that was a secret. No, her fans don't know that. That is
Right.
unknown to the fans. Mind you, too, when Luffy does this, they call him the Fifth Emperor, more to the timeline being
Post
after
Wano, right?
post Wano. And yeah, we find out she's Shanks' daughter, and from there, that kind of, I guess, sets in motion everything. Right?
Yeah,
From here, I mean,
because
goodness, I mean, where do you want to take this?
Well, the beginning of the movie, they made it a point to like narrate how the world views pirates. Because I feel like we never get that perspective too much because we're always with the Straw Hats, and we know the Straw Hats are not bad people, even though they consider themselves pirates. But realistically, to the rest of the world, pirates pillage, steal, and kill people, and the government is the only thing that stands in the way of pirates taking advantage of people. So I like that the film kind of reminded the audience, like, yeah, remember, you know, the Straw Hats, they're cool peeps, but pirates in general are terrible people. Eustace Kid is not a good person. As much as we like him, his group of pirates are actually pirates. They are not nice people. So the film reminded you about that early on because, of course, it ties into Uta as a character. Because what's Uta's whole shtick?
Uta hates pirates.
Does not like them.
She has her own personal grudge against pirates, and she listens to the people who also do not like pirates, and she's throwing this concert for them because she wants to rid the world of pirates. She wants to start a new era, a new world, a new era. Is that what she says?
Era? Yeah,
new era.
Because the whole Pirate King era was started by Gold Roger. And it's like, I want to kick off a new era. This age of piracy is terrible. It's killing people and getting people upset. Time for a new age. A new age.
Right. And from there, that kind of, Luffy and crew are pirates. So we get a lot of kind of opposing forces. Uta is having people go after Luffy and crew. Also, there are some other pirates there that are after Uta, and now they want to capture her because, now she's the daughter of an emperor. So now they want to hold her for ransom, but Uta's got her own ideas. Also, it seems Uta's so in control of everything that's going on at this concert.
Almost too in control.
So yeah, very much almost too in control. Here we, what I like about this film, I thought this was a really good job they did. One Piece world is vast. It makes sense to me that this adventure, this confrontation with Uta, who wants to rid the world of piracy, we see familiar characters from the One Piece lore happen to be here too. And it makes perfect sense. And I really like that. I don't like when these films sometimes, I mean, it's cool sometimes when you focus in on a core group of characters, but with One Piece films, it's like typically just the Straw Hats. And it's like, we want y'all to forget everything else going on in One Piece. Focus on Straw Hats.
Right.
No, not the case. We got many factions here. We got Law and Beppo over here. Everybody loves Law. Nobody dislikes Law.
I would, you show me someone that dislikes Law, I will show you a liar.
Right.
Like it does not exist.
Cool to see Law here. Bartolomeo is here. Luffy's number one fanboy.
Of course.
Right. Kobe and Helmeppo are here.
I did not expect, maybe Kobe, not Helmeppo.
This is their first. No, Kobe's in Stampede, I think. If I'm not mistaken.
You know what? Yeah, I think he is because I haven't seen Stampede, but Stampede had like a lot of cameo appearances from like a lot of characters.
Right. So, we got the Navy here. Bluno is here.
Did you like seeing Bluno again?
Yes, I did. Because one, we know, CP9 disbanded or they got reassigned. So
right.
I think we knew Bluno was still working for the world government.
Right.
So it was cool to see him here.
You saw Bluno. Oh, go ahead.
Shoot. Oh, I almost forgot. Brule and Oven, Big Mom pirates are here.
So that raises an interesting thing about the Big Mom pirates, right?
Well, okay. Oh God.
We want to address it.
with the Big Mom Pirates being here, we get a little cut back to Whole Cake, and we see Big Mom.
Ooh, that means she's alive.
Now,
Well, okay, right. What were you gonna say? What were you gonna say?
well, so far we're trying to put together that this takes place after Wano, given Luffy's referred to as the Fifth Emperor. Jinbei is here proper. I mean, there's another big thing that happens at the very end that would say that this is after Wano.
Right.
And with that said, with Oda being the head writer here, right? Head writer, original story by Ichiro Oda. Pretty sure.
Right. So when it comes, oh man, I want to save it for the when we talk about the canon bits, but yes, Oda, he was less involved with this film compared to Strong World, right?
He was.
But he was less
Okay.
involved. But for this, he served as a general producer and supervisor. But he still wrote and drew a lot of the bits of information regarding the film and its characters and promotional material. So this is where the canon stuff gets rocky, right? Because Uta is canon. The character is canon. But in terms of what happens in the film, it's tough to say what's canon and what's isn't. Of course, us seeing Big Mom alive, assuming we take the canon bit, that is basically acknowledging Big Mom survived the ass whooping she took from
And the
Kid
volcano.
and the volcano, and that means likely so did Kaido. And I know there was this back and forth in our Discord, so if you want to join our discourse, check out our Discord, link down below. But there was some back and forth saying, I think Big Mom is dead. I think Kaido's dead. They have to be. And it's like, unless you see a body, these characters don't die in One Piece. So, and even, again, it's a little wonky, but even the wiki of these characters, when you look at their status, it does not say deceased. It says something vague. I don't remember what it was, but it basically says like status unknown, something like that. So seeing Big Mom here is like, it then raises a question. So like, okay, Big Mom is alive. What was her reaction when she got out of the volcano? You know, was she like, I guess we're going home, and she just went back home to Whole Cake?
Right.
And it's like, okay, so how did she feel? She did not speak, right? Did she speak?
She did speak. She
did
spoke.
speak. Okay.
She spoke. She had a whole little. She said something, and then it cuts to Katakuri.
Okay.
Katakuri's here too.
Katakuri's here. I mean, yeah, the Big Mom Pirates, regardless of if this movie's canon or not, the Big Mom Pirates are still alive. Oven, Brule, Katakuri, all of them are like still kicking. They're doing their whole thing on Whole Cake Island or wherever the hell they are. But in terms of active players in this movie, right, you got Oven, you got Brule, Katakuri shows his face like towards the end of the movie, so that's really cool. A lot. It's like you said, the world of One Piece is big, and I felt like nothing was forced in this movie, in the sense that, oh, let's jam pack as many characters as we can into this film because we got to remind everyone about Kaido and Big Mom and all these other big name characters. The character of Uta, she is basically saying, I'm going to start a new age, and that is going to catch the attention of the entire world because of her influence. The world government, the Gorosei, are like, who is Uta? What is she doing?
What's this about a new age? Get in there.
Get that bit.
Shut that shit down right now.
They do not want a Roger 2.0 to happen again. And it's not like they think it's gonna start like a new pirate age with Uta. It's just when you get a group of people like massively worshiping another entity that is not yours, the Gorosei is like, well, that can be a sign of rebellion. If she gets a following and at some point she disagrees with us, that's control that we don't have anymore. and a new era starts. Great. The pirate era's over. And this, what? The pop, the Uta era? The King of Pop? The King of Pop era?
It's a era of peace. Just, I mean, funny enough, in the beginning of the film, they even make the kids, they show like a reference. The kids are saying they hate pirates, but then they even made a point to say, oh man, the Marines are here. They are pointing out too that there are multiple entities that are not necessarily doing a great job for the world. But yeah, I think this film does a really good job at capturing the idea that the One Piece world is not secluded to just the happenings of the Straw Hats. Everybody has kind of can have a stake.
It's a world.
It's a world. And funny enough, we only got a handful of characters that made an appearance in this film. There are so much more. There are so many more One Piece characters. Like, it's crazy to think that we had an enjoyable outing with the likes of Bluno and Bartolomeo in one film. And it's like,
never would have guessed.
In the next film, we can get a whole new set of characters to, you know, just showcase this. So I think they did a really good job at that. That was really fun to see. It was cool. I think the team up of Luffy, Troll Guy, Beppo, and Bartolomeo was funny. And then I think too, Kobe and Helmeppo working with Bluno.
That, like, you tell me that was going to be a combo, I wouldn't believe you.
Never. We even get admirals in this film.
Right. Kizaru makes an appearance. Fujitora.
I mean, we see Akainu make some calls from away, but
all he ever does.
Right. Kizaru and Fujitora are here. They're like in it too. They're in it. So they really brought in all the factions. That I really like that. Like,
the only major one that was not here,
the Revolutionaries.
Right. They were the only ones.
I dare I say they were kind of maybe split in the time. For example, Sabo's in Stampede. He was not here in this film.
Oh, okay.
You know, maybe that's kind of what they were going for. Buggy is in Stampede. Buggy and Smoker are in Stampede.
Damn, they're all in Jesus.
Right.
I didn't know all of them were in there.
There's so many in Stampede's got a shit ton. It's crazy.
Wow.
But obviously, you know, they're not here, so it's like the world is vast. Let's shine some light on some other One Piece characters. And again, it's fan service, but with the story presented here, it makes sense. And nothing felt contrived. Nothing felt too convoluted. There might be some convolution. Just a tad. There might be a little too much exposition at times too.
Well, let's get into those nitty gritty details, right? With Uta, right? Uta as a character is supposedly the daughter of Shanks, and that raises a lot of questions because it's like, so Shanks has a daughter that he never mentioned once, and he's never come back, and now he's fitting that stereotype of deadbeat shonen fathers that just have kids and then just leave for decades, and we're supposed to like them still, but
I feel that's where all our minds went to. I was like, oh, she's mad at Shanks, he abandoned her.
Right, because, you know, Uta meets Luffy early on, and then she's basically saying, you know, where's the rest of your crew? You know, after he introduced everyone, you know, like Brooke, Frankie, all of them. But she's like, okay, but where are the rest? And he's like, that's it. Like, what do you mean? But she's directly referring to the Straw Hat, because she's like, if you have the Straw Hat, that must mean Shanks is here somewhere, or the Shanks pirates are like around. So,
or you joined the crew,
or you joined them. Right. So, because Uta has been secluded from the rest of the world. That was established early on. She has no idea about Marineford or just anything about it. She didn't know Luffy was alive.
This is her. She's secluded. People know about her because she's using transponder still. This is her first live concert, which is why everybody comes out to see her because they just love her so much. Right. So yes, worth pointing out. Yeah, she's got a vendetta apparently. for whatever reason, we're gifted with flashbacks throughout. They establish when the red hair pirates first come to Fuchsia Village, she was always with them. Prior
Right.
to Luffy stabbing himself, prior to him eating the gum fruit, prior to Shanks getting his arm bit off. She and Luffy are friends.
She was always there.
She was always there until she wasn't. And she was a part of the crew. She's like, I am the red hair pirate's musician. And
Right.
she was a singer.
And some people say that if you want to really try and tie in like that element into canon, some people say that was Luffy's whole obsession with the musician, wanting a musician as part of his crew early on in One Piece. Because remember, when he went off in that dinghy, he was like, oh yeah, a crew of 10 would be nice. I would really like a musician too. Like, it was just a random role that he just threw in there, and he's like, I want a musician. It's like, why do you want that out of all the roles for a pirate crew? Some people say Uta's influence from the past was likely the reason why he probably wanted something like that on his crew. So
I can buy that.
Right. Not directly said from what I know. Maybe Oda confirmed in an interview somewhere, but I know that's an assumption that's being made about Uta's influence on Luffy, because apparently she was always there. Luffy and her would have these little competitions between themselves, like who could eat the fastest, arm wrestling, a lot of these silly things. And Uta would always mess with Luffy because he's a jackass, and Luffy would say, oh yeah, but I was the one that won because you cheated in that one. So just general silliness all around. But once Uta learns that Luffy's a pirate, that's where kind of the tone shifts, because before that she was like very happy to see Luffy. She welcomed everyone in the crew, wanted them to have a good time, have good food. And then she realized that he was a pirate. And then once he said that, oh, hey, I'm going to leave now, she's like, no, you're not.
Oh, no, you're part of this too. Everybody.
That's when the psycho eyes turned on.
Yep.
It's like, wow, all right, so this was all a ruse. And so we're now stuck here. Now Uta is being painted as the antagonist of the story.
She is the baddie. We're gonna have to take her down.
Right. And oh, go ahead.
Oh no.
I was gonna say, like, basically it's something that the entire crew, or at least Luffy specifically, it's like, all right, Luffy, quick, beat her ass, do gear 4 and just whoop it. But it's like Luffy doesn't want to fight her. He's like, no, I'm not fighting you, Uta. Like, what? I'm not doing this with you. And that, of course, results in the Straw Hats, getting captured. We start to see some elements of Uta's powers. We see it early on when the pirates try to capture her. Those random jellyfish pirates that they're called. Yes. They try capturing her, and it just doesn't work. She puts on she starts singing, and then she puts on this armor, and then flings them onto a music sheet, a blank music sheet, and they form music notes and everything. So at that point you start thinking, okay, is this a devil fruit? Is this something else? Is this gadgets? Like what?
Never did I not think it was a devil fruit, but watching it unfold, I was like, well, this is just OP. She sings and it creates armor. She sings and it captures the Straw Hats. She sings and it just does whatever
Oh, go ahead.
She sings and it does whatever the fuck she wants.
I mean, it captured literally the entire crew. It captured Zoro, Jinbei, Sanji. And part of it could be also, they realize it's Luffy's friends. They're like not really going all out necessarily, but still, it's like she was in the span of a couple seconds, just wiped out the entire crew. And
there's the movie.
There's the movie done. Bam, throw him in the water, dead.
You can't win.
Can't win. Kaizu Koni, my ass. Like, no, hell no. You're not
Right.
becoming king of anything at that point. So that's how they wrap up that bit, right? Luffy is acknowledging, hey, I'm not fighting her. I am not doing that. That's not me. This is my friend. And then that's kind of like where they get separated, right? That, like, Luffy. How does Luffy get separated from?
Yeah. Bartolomeo comes in and saves him, and Law does too, and that's how they form that group.
He does shambles.
He does. Yeah, he does. Right.
Okay.
So that's how they form that group, and then the Straw Hats. So now everybody's working kind of to unravel this mystery. So the Straw Hats eventually escape, and they're discovering the ruins, and they learn that this country has a deeper, dark secret. Luffy and crew, I believe he's revealing more about Uta and what happened and everything as far as the past. And then I think Kobe is the one who really kind of ties it all together. And he's like, hey, folks, this ain't the real world. This is a genjutsu. This is a Tsukiyomi.
Oh, wow. It is a genjutsu.
Sure is.
Wow.
We are under Uta's siren spell.
Right.
To where anyone who hears her sing falls asleep. And she's able to put them in this world where she can manipulate it however she sees fit. But it's a shared dream experience.
Right. Everyone. Yeah, yeah, you're right. It's a shared dream experience. Everyone is seeing the same thing. And that's the power of the Sing Sing fruit, which is, I feel like I forgot which character said it, but every devil fruit has the potential to be OP. Because every time we hear the powers of one fruit, we're like, damn, that's OP. Wow.
I mean, this is pretty OP. This devil fruit is essentially what Jigglypuff would love after everybody falls asleep from listening to Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff says, what's better than riding on their faces for falling asleep during my performance? Lock them in an infinite dream and don't let them out.
Where they all cheer for my songs. They all
Yes.
cheer and they listen to me sing at my concerts.
Right.
Yeah, that's basically the shtick. Like, what is, so you have the Straw Hats trying to uncover the mystery as to what's going on. They're going into the ruins to determine, you know, this country had you know, people here before. So what happened? You know, where are the people? How is it just Uta having a concert here? And we get introduced to I forgot his name, but Uta's teacher. Gordon. A character from Uta's past that knows, you know, the secret as to why she hates pirates, why she does not like Shanks anymore. And I forget in what sequence like this happens in, but what they learn that the kingdom of is it Eglia? Allegia? Allegia. They learned that it was, you know, years ago, it was a country of musicians. It was the country of music. The country of music. That's what they called it. And what? They learned that at one point, what? Go ahead.
Well, yeah, the red hair pirates left Fuchsia Village. They went here. Uta performed. Everybody loved Uta and her voice. Shanks suggests, hey, maybe this is better for you than venturing off with pirates.
The world can hear you through them. You're only just going to be with us the entire time.
But Uta's content. She says, I'm a red hair pirate. Like, this is what I want. And then what is revealed is that I think Uta wakes up to everybody dead. The whole country's on fire. And she's left with Gordon, and Gordon tells her the red hair pirates did this.
And then she sees them sailing off.
Right.
In the distance.
With like not a care in the world.
Not a care. They're like all facing away from her, drinking ale, sitting on a pile of like treasure or cargo. So to sell the story, right, that the red hair pirates did this. Obviously, us as fans knowing these characters, we're immediately saying, "Hey, no way Shanks did this."
Yeah, no, this ain't their MO for sure.
This is not them because everyone's dead. Everyone is dead in that country. Only 2 survivors, Gordon and Uta.
Right.
And that's it.
So, red flags. Many red flags.
Ooh, red.
Oh, wow, red.
Look at that. Look at that.
So we'll come back to that. So what we get kind of what we need. Well, that's a thing, but then the Straw Hats also discovered there's Tot Musica, which is a powerful demon that if released will, I don't know, I guess destroy the world. The Gorosei are aware of Tot Musica. That's why they're actually more interested in sending Kobe and Helmeppo and Bluno to this island to report back what's going on, because apparently they sealed it away a long time ago. They'd hate for it to be released again.
Right. That's their whole thing with sending the military over there. The whole new age thing from Uta, and also the danger from Tot Musica.
Yeah, they were like, no, we just really want to make sure Tot Musica doesn't come out here. That's the big goal here. So I think what then happens is Tot Musica is coming, but also they learn that they need to attack Uta to wake everybody up, not only in the dream world, but in reality too. And they have to do it simultaneously. And they need to do that before Tot Musica is awakened.
Right. Is it that they need to attack Uta, or they need to attack Tot Musica? Or, I mean the Demon King from...
Let's just say they need to attack. They need to attack Uta because simultaneously to wake up.
Because the whole gimmick with Uta is, you have everyone that listened to her music is now asleep, right? And they're in that dream world. In reality, Uta is the only one on the island where everyone's asleep. But then when the military starts coming in, that's where you get like Fujitora and these other characters coming in, like the vice admirals, and they're like, hey, let's kill her, because if we kill her, that's gonna break the spell. But it's like, no, if you kill Uta when everyone's like asleep, they're gonna be stuck in that state. Like the realm or the reality that they're in, it's gonna be locked in. They're stuck there. If Uta dies, you might as well just throw those bodies in the ocean, because they ain't ever waking up, ever.
Right. And so from here, Uta's also on the verge of dying herself. She wants them to be stuck there, and she's okay with, like, she's exerting too much of her power, and she's like on the verge of death.
Well, it's the wake shroom.
Right.
The wake shroom that she's eating, because they said early in the film, if she puts everyone to sleep, if at any point Uta herself just like let's say she decides to go take a nap, like she's like, I'm kind of tired, I'm gonna go to sleep, that automatically breaks the spell,
and everybody wakes up,
and everyone wakes up. So she's eating these things called they're mushrooms, but they call them wake shrooms, and she's eating them to constantly stay awake. And it's something where you get introduced to it very early on in the film, because even Sanji, like when he's preparing food, he notices like that mushroom in the ingredients. He's like, ugh, what the hell is this? And he flicks it away. But it's like the more you eat it, it kills you slowly, because you're staying awake. Like it's like hyping yourself up on like 5-hour energies, like just back to back.
Yeah, it's just draining. It's draining you. So
right.
But her ultimate plan cannot happen until a certain pirate arrives. She's waiting for a certain pirate to arrive. She's waiting for Shanks to show up. She wants to exact her revenge and make sure he's a part of it too. Now again, One Piece is a very, vast world, and what we're treated to is something we're already familiar with, is that the idea that the world government does not care and they will do what they must to get what they want. They're out here. Uta can control the lifeless bodies of people in the dream world.
Right.
The government are shooting up civilians, and because
Right.
again, they don't care. It's like, do whatever it takes, take her down.
Well, at first they kind of go there and they're like, we can't harm this. Fujitora is like, we can't harm these people. We can't do that. Like, these are innocent civilians. And then Akainu is the one that puts in the order saying, no, like, kill them. Because again, the point of that is, it's not just the people on the island that she's affecting. It's everyone in the world. Yes. So
Right.
it's that whole like train, that train.
Do you move the tracks to save 5 or 1 person? Yeah.
Right, exactly. So it's like, his logic is like, there's a couple thousand people on that island compared to the millions across the world that are gonna die if we let this girl do what she wants. Kill them, shoot them. That's what they say to do. And they start doing that. And Uta's not having it because Uta, so what was Uta's plan in all this? She wanted
everyone to be in this dream world and just live in peace.
But eventually, because she knew she was gonna die, was she okay? Oh, she wanted them to stay in there.
Yes, she was okay with dying. Yeah, she was totally okay with dying.
Right, they would stay. If she dies, they're locked in the dream world. That's
right.
Happy.
Right.
Wow.
So she was content with dying. But when the government does start shooting people, at that point is where she summons Tote Musica, and now we get our third act villain. That
did you like Tote Musica? The Demon King. They keep calling him the Demon King, like a generic.
Yeah, it was pretty generic calling him Demon King. It was fine. I mean, it was probably the most contrived thing in the movie, but I guess that works as a better villain than this girl who's singing. Like, you don't want to see Luffy Gomu Gomu no Kong gun.
Kong gun rifle.
This girl, that's not what you want to see, I guess. But
right.
No, I think what transpires here is just some really cool sequences. So the idea is you can only beat Tote Musica if you're hitting him. Here comes the simultaneous part.
Right.
The world government, though, I guess at this point doesn't care. I can't remember. They didn't help out in this fight.
Well, I guess Helmeppo and Kobe.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I mean, Kizaru and Fujitora are not helping in this fight.
Right.
It is with the timely appearance of the red hair pirates. Do they now have a stake in the reality world? So it's red hair pirates.
Right. Going back to what you said, Shanks told Kizaru and them, don't get involved. This is a family matter.
Yes.
So you say that they're not helping. It's like, well, red hair Shanks told me not to help.
I guess that's fair. Yeah.
Right.
So they were still ready to kill some civilians, and they had to. We saw them put up actually a decent fight against briefly. That was another thing going to this film. People were like, man, we get to see the red hair pirates in action. Ever so brief, but it was cool nonetheless. Brief. I think we saw what we see. What did you notice from the red hair pirates?
Well, I mean, I even pointed it out to you in the theater. It was like we were like a good hour and 20-ish minutes into the movie, and I was like, these the red hair pirates have not appeared yet in this damn film, and flashbacks do not count because I did not come here to just watch Shanks flashbacks. Where is Shanks? But yeah, he comes in with the red hair pirates in like the latter half of the film, in the third act, and they put in work. They help out in the fight. You got Rue, you got Beck in there doing the shots. They don't show, again, I know Oda's saving it. He's saving it to really show like what these characters can really do, but he showed off some cool things with them, because kind of like that that simultaneous thing that we liked, you get interactions with characters that, you know, Shanks and them are in the real world, the Straw Hats are in the fantasy world. So they need to combine their attacks and do, like, you know, simultaneous blows to the Demon King from Tot Musica. So, but to discover that, you have Usopp like talking with his dad, like he's, or not talking with him, like what does he do?
They're using okay, so Yasop and Shanks point out that with observation hockey, we can see what's going on in the dream world. And Yasop makes a point, and he's like, yeah, my son, he's got it, but he needs to practice it with it more. And they form a link. Him and Yasop form a link.
Their first interaction ever.
And it was so good. It was so like, what a moment. What a moment.
Do you think that's canon?
I hope it's canon. I hope it's canon.
Remember when we fought Usopp Dad in the final arc of One Piece?
It was just really cool. Usopp was starstruck, and then he's like, wait, I got to get it together. All right, Dad, come on, let's call out these attacks. So you got Usopp communicating and Yasop communicating. Mind you, Kobe is running point as well.
He's yes.
Kobe is being a badass leader right now.
He's being a fleet admiral. To me, that's a fleet. That's a dude calling the shots on the front lines.
Right. He's like, yo, I want on the front line. I want Zoro. I want Law. I forgot who the third person was. But he puts the powerhouses up front, and he's like, you know, Usopp, you get the rear. Sanji, you protect, you know, the firing squad. Jinbei and Frankie, you provide support. Chopper, you take care of Luffy, make sure he's good. Frankie, you protect Chopper, make sure he's
This was king mentality. This was Chad energy.
Right, man. He had it down. He had it down, and it was like, it's a cool thing watching these movies, and you don't expect to see growth. You kind of expect them to do the same thing.
They're kind of static a little bit, like, because they're like, oh, we don't want them to grow in here or show progression, because that's what the manga and the anime's for.
Right. But what you get here is with a character like Kobe, who, I mean, he's got a significant role to play currently in the manga. It's kind of up in the air right now, but it's like, he had significant growth here. Usopp had significant growth here. Jinbei fighting alongside the Straw Hats is so cool to see. Everybody had a great moment. Mind you, the action was superb in this film.
Oh my God. Because, I mean, the action was superb, backed up with that music.
With the soundtrack,
oh my God. Literally, after the theater, what did I do? I bought the entire soundtrack. I loved every single song in this movie. There's a song called Tot Musica.
Tot Musica, yeah.
That was when she actually starts singing the Tot Musica chords, and it just sounds so like demonic, ominous.
Yeah.
It sounds scary, like, ooh, we're getting serious here. And the subtitles are in, like, not in English anymore. They're in that, like, ancient,
I had no idea what the hell that language was.
That's not the poneglyph language, is it?
I have no idea. I thought it was a real language. I was trying to figure out what
no. That's definitely not a real language. No.
Oh no, I didn't know. Shoot, it could be the poneglyph.
It was just cool to see. It was just cool to see.
Yeah, no, super cool to see, right?
And so
very intricate.
Very, very intricate. And I love how Uta, you know, when the fighting really starts, and Shanks is there already, she kind of goes full psycho, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna paint you all the way that you guys should be painted. And her logic in this is, I'm gonna make you guys look like the pirates you really are. as in like I'm gonna make you guys look ferocious and mean and ugly, like, oh god, pirates are scum. You guys did this to me. She gave the Straw Hats so much drip from that from that scene. I'm like, what? They look good. They look good in it.
It was the adverse effect. It was like, nah, yeah, you made them look better. Like they got
that looks good.
It does.
It's like you remember in Strong World the all red, the red outfits that they had?
No, I thought they were like wearing black tuxedo type.
Oh wait, no, was that okay? No, that was you're right. That was Strong World and Film Z, I think it was, where it was all red. They all wore red.
I don't know. I never finished Film Z, but yes, it was that third act drip. Like,
right.
Let's make them look badass in this final act.
Right.
Worked for me. It worked for me.
It looked good. All the Straw Hats going in, and then the combo attacks that were like, I kind of forgot some of them. What, the monkey was paired with who?
Oh God, the Shanks's monkey, the monkey on Shanks's crew. Oh, I have no idea.
Oh my God, he was paired with. I think it was Frankie, maybe.
I completely missed who was. I know Zoro and Beck had a combo,
which was iconic because
vice captains,
mate,
right, first mates, yeah. Usopp and Yasop had they did a shot before Shanks and Luffy came in. I don't know, but I know on the Dream side we saw like Jinbei launch Frankie at one point.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. I think we saw Zoro take a leap off of Sanji's shoulder.
Oh, he jumped on his shoulder and used him as a boost.
Yeah.
Oi, oi, oi.
Oh, Mase! Maimo! We saw Zeus. I think Zeus.
Zeus is in
Zeus.
Yeah.
And Jinbei and Zeus did like some water electricity
they did a combo? Oh,
I think
did.
So,
no,
yeah.
They did. Yeah. Because I remember you called and I was like, oh, yeah, that means Nami's there. Nami and Jinbei did something together.
Yeah, right. So, no, there was a good amount. God, I would watch it again just to watch the scenes.
Easily. This is a film that I'm going to buy when it's released officially. Like, I think 100%.
I think Robin and Chopper was in Monster Point at one point. I know he did Monster and Kung Fu Point throughout the film.
He did. Yes.
Right. Did. It was good. It was good stuff.
You gotta watch it again. It's something
everybody had a moment. Brooke had a couple of moments too. Everybody had a moment. Everybody did their thing. It was just the music really heightens the scene, and it was some of the best animation I've ever seen. Like, this is the kind of animation that is currently probably going on in Wano.
It is, right.
Right, but this music was everything. And then the finisher is Luffy. Okay, so Luffy, we see him.
Right.
Go ahead, take it.
Oh, no, I was going to say the build-up, right? Because
the build-up.
The build-up. Luffy's letting the crew do their thing. He's being a Chad, watching them do their thing. And then eventually it's like, all right, I gotta start making moves now. I start shaking your shoulder like, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do Gear 5. And what? You're like, no, they can't. They can't because the anime hasn't done that yet.
They haven't.
So at first they were teasing it. It's like, oh, okay. First he hockeyed his arm up. He started blowing into it. And it's like, okay, this is Gear 4. So he's going into Gear 4. Doing his Gear 4 shtick.
He does Bound Man first.
Bound Man.
And he starts wailing into it. And Shanks is doing it on the other side. We don't see the transition, but it was such a beautiful transition.
To Snake Man?
The next thing we know, to Snake Man.
Oh, okay. Right.
To Snake Man. And we're like, we're over here getting up. We're like, oh, it's just Snake Man. It's just Snake Man. But it's
I was still committed. I'm like, no, he still got it. Because like my logic with this was they're in like a reality, like a fake reality, right?
Yes.
So my logic is he's gonna use Gear 5 to like break that reality because the whole thing about Gear 5 is imagination and like bending the rules. And I'm like, he's gonna do it.
Well, it's also when he's truly at free. He's truly free.
Exactly.
And in this reality, it's supposed to be, yeah, like everything you ever wanted, everything's at peace. So technically, he will be truly free. And again,
Right.
it's a beautiful transition. It's some of the best animation I've ever seen in like anything. And it's like it's so quick, you blink and you miss it because the screen goes white.
He goes white.
And all you see is the outline of Shanks on one side. And if you do not pay close attention enough to Luffy, you do not realize that
His hair.
his hair becomes the hair. His eyes become like the eyes.
Right.
And it's here. And
It's here. And then, when they do their final blow against the Demon King, the screen goes back to color. And if you needed more convincing, you see from far away, from the back, Luffy's in Gear 5. He did the final blow in Gear 5 with Shanks. That was amazing. I love
it. Was
the first
I almost cried.
You almost cried? Ah!
It was such a great anime. They did there was the animation too with their combined attacks. It made like some kind of dragon or something. I don't know what the hell it was.
I need to go back and see it again. It was just craziness of like what was being shown on screen, the fact that it was Gear 5. I mean, we lost it. We lost it in the theater.
We did.
Is that it? Oh no. Oh, it is. Because it hasn't been animated yet in the anime.
It has not been animated yet, right?
That's so Film Red is the first time we've seen Gear 5 animated, and that's a big deal. That is really big. And it just sells that moment more because you want this to be canon in some way, and this helps it be canon. It's post Wano, so you have Jinbei, you have the Straw Hats, with Luffy being named the 5th Emperor, and you have Gear 5. Gear 5 is in this movie. Would I have loved to see more of it? Of course, but they're like, okay, we're just gonna, tease it here a little bit. It's not in the anime yet, so we're not gonna blow our load here yet. Let's just get the fans want Gear 5. It's here. So
it was enough. It was really enough, to be honest.
I'm satisfied.
I'm so satisfied. It's just a beautiful culmination. And he did it with Shanks. He did it side by side with Shanks.
Exactly.
So thematically, it was also very cool because, again, speaking canonically, Luffy and Shanks aren't gonna meet each other again for a very long time. Maybe at the very end.
Oh yeah, because like you could even say they didn't even interact in this movie directly. Yeah.
They did. Shanks literally is crouched next to a sleeping Luffy.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the closest he's been to him since they parted ways all those years ago.
Right.
Well, actually, I mean, maybe you could say Marineford, maybe. That was kind of close.
They were close, but it's like he's
not conscious.
Luffy, wake up, Luffy. I'm right here. So they don't do that, but yeah, I think the film we're talking about the falling action now. I think I think it was great all the way through. We actually learn it wasn't Shanks and the Red Hair Pirates that destroyed the city. It was actually Uta who did it. She had unknowingly awakened Toten Musica before. Right.
That's where the story kind of got a little contrived.
Yeah, I got a little lost, just a tad. I was like, wait, so she awakened him? How did she awaken him?
It's like it had its own influence. Like it sensed that Uta was on the island, so it sent the music sheets to Uta, and
she started singing.
And she started singing it, and then the Demon King came out and it destroyed the entire village. But that's where Shanks basically told Gordon, like, hey, don't let Uta, we're gonna leave Uta behind. Don't let Uta know that she did this. Tell her it was us. Which it's like, Shanks, I mean, I get it, but that might be a little bit more traumatizing for her because she loves you guys, and she's gonna wake up thinking that the closest people in her life like did this. to this country and they abandon her. I feel like you could have told her anything else. You could have told her anything else. You could have said these random pirates came in and they attacked the country and the red-haired pirates went to chase them and they never came back. There.
I think what you have here is, again, Shanks knowing that would be best for her to really become the music star and, you know, push her music in her singing career. So it was like a noble sacrifice. It was a father letting his daughter out into the world to be her own woman versus follow in his footsteps.
His shadow. And for me, it works. I understand, though, that it's like, damn, you really couldn't think of anything else, you know? It was, I mean, he seemed so confident that this was the best solution to say.
It was the only way.
It was the only way, Luffy.
I don't think it was the only way, but for the story's sake, it had to be. This had to be the only way, I guess.
And we also learn, you know, before I mention this, wasn't it revealed at some point that Uta knew that it wasn't the Shank pirates, the red hair pirates that did that?
Oh, I think, but I don't remember all the way. I think so.
Yeah, I think they said that, and that's where it kind of lost me again a little bit because it's like, okay, so if you knew. Right, no, it did happen because remember that's when Luffy tried hugging Uta when they were fighting and the final fight, and she's like, look, you see, I told you Shanks would never do that. I told you Shanks would never do something like that. And then you think Uta's gonna, you know, embrace Luffy like, oh, you're right, Shanks is a good person, but she attacks him, and Luffy's like, I don't understand what, and then she reveals, ooh, I always knew that Shanks didn't do that. And it's like, I don't know, maybe I need to watch the film again and piece that little bit together. That's one of the contrived bits where I'm like, did you have to know from the beginning? Did you have to know that you knew it all along? Did it have to be told Musica being a demon? I don't know.
I don't think it moves the bar at all, her knowing and whatnot. I don't know, they try to add
because she still commits.
Another layer.
She still commits to what she's trying to do.
Right. So I think they were going for another layer. They didn't need another layer. I think that it was really layered just fine.
Right.
The way they layered it. I mean, again, throughout the movie we question, man, did Shanks have to be her father? Not necessarily, no.
Not necessarily until.
Well, I think it makes a great tie-in. If you want to tie it into the greater One Piece world, it makes for a better story versus, oh, her father was some random character that we need exposition on now, you know?
Well, I thought, because I did have that question throughout the entire movie, wondering, like, did you really need her to be Shanks's daughter? Like, what relevance does this have? Like, as opposed to just being a character that is doing something. But you know, and I feel like Oda wrote this part, right? I feel like he wrote this specific part where, you know, everyone wakes up from the dream, right? And Shanks is like holding Uta, and he's telling her to, you know, drink the medicine, whatever. And she's like, no, I'm not going to drink it. I'm going to wake everyone up because I realized what I did was wrong, and, you know, blah, 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 blah. But at that point, you get a flashback. And you go back to young Shanks. Like, this is like, oh God, I don't even know how recent the red hair pirates are at this point. But what, they raided a cargo, another ship, and in the treasure, there's a child in one of like the boxes.
Right.
That child is Uta. And again, that again establishes, okay, this is not Shanks's biological daughter. Right? Because that was the concern where it was like, well, if that's his biological daughter, where's the mother? Did Shanks just like leave a deadbeat mom? Like what happened?
Or did the mom leave Shanks?
Right, exactly. So but this establishes this is Shanks's adoptive daughter, and there's a key point here that I think Oda, I feel like Oda wrote this. you see from the perspective of because everyone's like, oh, Shanks, what are we gonna do with this? Like, this is a baby. Like, what do we do? And Shanks is smiling and looking at Uta as a baby, and then you see like a flashback from Uta's perspective where she's looking at Shanks and Beck and Rue, and then it flashes back to someone else, and it shows another child looking from their perspective at Gold Roger and Rayleigh. And it's like, and then it flashes back to Shanks and them. That is heavily implying the reason why Shanks took Uta was because she's in the same boat in which she was taken in by Gold Roger and Rayleigh when he was a baby. They found him as a baby.
They found Shanks as a baby.
They found Shanks as a baby and they adopted him as their own.
Oh, I see.
You didn't see that in the
I saw it. I didn't get it at first, but now it makes sense.
Right. Yes.
Now I get it.
Because they showed it from the perspective of Uta looking up at, Shanks and them. And then it quickly flashes to Gold Roger and Rayleigh and then flashes back. And that's when Shanks is like, well, I'll take her. She's my daughter. And I was like, oh my, Oda had to have wrote that.
Yeah.
We never knew that about Shanks. We never knew how he ended up on Gold Roger's crew. We don't know how Buggy ended up there. So I thought that was really cool. And then that leads into the mentality of, okay, that's why Oda had Uta be Shanks' daughter. That's why she's related to him in that sense. And I'm like, okay, now I can buy it.
Yeah, I can buy that. I can. Great parallel too.
It's fantastic. Oh man. And the film, like literally after that scene, it wraps up really quickly because Luffy and them wake up on the Sunny. Which by the way, we forgot to mention this. I think it's funny to mention. One of the powers with Uta was that her Sing Sing fruit turned people into like chibis or like children.
No, it's just whatever the fuck she wants happens.
But was that turning random characters into kids?
It's not a power. It's whatever the fuck she wants. The point is, some people became chibi, and they turned the Thousand Sunny into this lion fox creature
that can only say
Sunny. Right, like a freaking Pokemon.
I thought they were gonna. I mean, the Sunny interacts with the Straw Hats in that form, and I thought he was gonna, or she, I don't know. I thought the Sunny was going to just say some cool things with the. I thought Chopper and the Sunny were gonna have a moment because they're the most kid-like characters of the crew like that. So I don't know. Maybe that was like one missed opportunity where I was like, damn, I kind of wish they interacted with the Sunny more in that state.
I thought
freaking funny. That's hilarious.
I thought the Sunny was going to be able to talk and I thought it was going to be the voice of the Clover Tomon.
Oh, the spirit.
Yeah, thing. The Sunny has a spirit actually. It's
right.
in a movie. I don't remember which movie revealed it.
Oh, it is.
Yes, it's a post-credit scene in one of the movies. You see the Clover Tomon on top of the Sunny.
Wow.
Don't know which movie, but it's a thing. Yeah, cool little thing. They didn't do much with it, but it's there. It's
right. Cool. And then one last thing. There's like ancient robots that they're fighting in the
ruins.
In the ruins. A lot of people say that looks like the ancient robots that we just bumped into in the manga right now on Egg Island.
Could be some tie-in.
So neat little things to reference the manga if you're not caught up. You're only caught up with the anime. But yeah, at the end of the movie, they pretty much, Luffy wakes up, he sees Shanks and the other pirates sailing away. Didn't get to interact with him, but you see like, you don't know what it is, but I think it's a coffin that the pirates have on their ship.
It does look like a coffin, yeah.
Right.
It does.
implying, that Uta died. Uta, I mean, that was the whole thing with eating the wake shrooms, is that it was going to lead to that ultimate fate. She was going to die. But before she died, she decided to save everyone and wake everyone up from that dream. It, and then the movie ends, and then you kind of just see the whole world kind of reacting to just Uta's music, which again, they're still going to be fans of the music. But
you just don't want to be trapped in the Matrix.
Right. I mean, we kind of laughed at those random scenes where those people were like, I gotta go back to work.
Yeah, it's like, Uta, yeah, we don't like this.
Can we go home? And oh man, the funniest part is where Uta's like, no, you guys should stay. I want you guys to stay. Don't you want to be happy and peaceful? And it was the first person to lose their shit. They're like, I want to go home. And that's where you start seeing the mental breakdown of Uta, because now everyone's losing it. I just thought that was funny, because that dude was like, bitch, let me go. I want to go home.
I think it was really well done. It was like, yeah, Uta, no, you can't force people to be under an infinite Tsukiyomi willy-nilly. You need consent. Get their consent first.
Exactly. So, oh man, it's just a lot of good bits. This is a movie I would definitely watch again.
Oh, I would 100% watch this again.
Easily. It was just fantastic from beginning to end. The ending was a little abrupt. I was like, oh wow, the credits are rolling, because the Straw Hats wake up and they're like, all right, time to go.
I think what happens here is that they say the main kind of conflict really stems from Uta and Shanks. So they said, let's give them that moment versus having it kind of end with Luffy. So I think it works on a thematic level. It looks, I looked it up. Apparently it looks like she died, but she's just lying there. So she might be alive still. Also, I looked up, I forgot, Luffy was given the 5th Emperor after the Whole Cake incident. That's when they titled him the 5th Emperor.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
What this film, I believe now, takes place before Wano, and they threw Jinbei in for extra flavor.
Wait, I don't think it takes
extra measure.
Think it takes place before Wano. I still think it's post Wano.
Well, that's the thing too, is that
Gear 5.
I mean, Big Mom's alive, but Gear 5, it was, I don't know. It could have just, I don't know. It could be easily Luffy was free, as you said, in the reality world. I think you can make the argument because Big Mom is here in this film.
Well, my main thing is you have Gear. The things that convince me this is post Wano, Gear 5, and Jinbei. Jinbei seals it for me. Jinbei seals it. I
agree.
Yes, I think
it could just be one of those liberties they took.
So again, when it comes to this is where, because we pretty much kind of wrapped up the film in its entirety, and now the main part is what elements of this are canon, right? Because a lot of people are going to be wanting to fit this somewhere in the One Piece timeline, when it doesn't necessarily, the best place for it to fit is after Wano. But then you have the question of, well, what about Big Mom? We don't know what her fate right now is, even though I know she's not dead. I know her and Kaido are not dead. They're not dead.
Yeah, but no, they would have just said they're dead.
Right, exactly. So I feel like them showing Big Mom in this is like, okay, well, who said Big Mom needed to appear in this? Is this Oda? Did Oda say, okay, let me put Big Mom in this bit right here? Or is that a liberty that the animation staff is like, hey, what would be cool if we show Big Mom here? Because, the Big Mom pirates are part of this right now. I don't know, but as a whole, the film itself is non-canon, but there are elements of it that are canon. It's hard. It's hard. It's like, how can it be both? How can it be both? The best way to think of it is Uta is canon. Shanks had an adoptive daughter. That part is canon. And the reason you know it's canon, it's in the manga. It's in the freaking manga. Chapter 1055, there's a chapter where Shanks says some Chad line, and he, above him, you see all these flashbacks with like Luffy, and when he got his arm bitten off and all that stuff. And one of the panels in that flashback was a silhouette that we now know is Uta. You don't see the character, but it's a silhouette of someone. That is Uta. It's in the manga, therefore Uta is a canon character. If the events in the movie are canon, that's where you're like, is it though? I don't know. So I feel like Oda himself would need to basically come out and say,
set the record straight.
Set the record straight, right? Because there was, even Oda, he wrote a special one-page manga. I remember reading this. It was one that was written and drawn by him, where like Uta is like drawing, or not drawing. I think she's writing like sheet music, and it was like, it was very quick. It was literally one page. It was right before like the actual chapter that was releasing that week, and it was like, oh wow, so yeah, she exists, she's there. And it's not to say Oda's never done this before. Oda's done this with Shiki from Strong World.
Right.
Done the same exact thing where, Shiki and Uta are canon characters, but their actions in the films that in which they're starred in are non-canon. Right? So like Shiki, if you were to, so get this, right? Strong World, if you really just wanted to be like, Strong World is canon, I don't care what you say, you could put Strong World, canonically, it would be between Thriller Bark and Sabaody Archipelago. Because Brook is part of the crew in Strong World at that point.
Right.
And Sabaody is where they get separated. So the only time for it to have happened, Strong World, is in between those two arcs. What makes it non-canon is that there's a bunch of things, but Zoro is still recovering from his ass whooping from Kuma. And him fighting in Strong World does not make any sense, because if he, from Thriller Bark to Sabaody, when Zoro starts fighting the pacifistas and those other characters, his wounds start to open up again. And he's like, bro, I haven't healed yet. That Kuma beating, I'm still recovering from. You don't see that in Strong World.
Right.
You don't see that. So little things like that make the events of Strong World non-canon, but the characters that are in it, like Shiki, they are canon. Same with Uta. Uta is canon. I know there was a bit where some people were saying Uta is Lunarian. Lunarian. She's not Lunarian at all.
I didn't get any Lunarian vibes.
Part of it was the Black Wings. The Black Wings are the Lunarian trademark, but
she doesn't have black wings.
She does have black wings, but she has wings in her act, but at one point she paints the wings black. So you see that transition, but she does not actually have wings at any point. So she's not Lunarian. And I mean, one of the traits we noticed with Lunarians is that they have dark skin as well.
Right.
Uta's pale. She's pale as the ghost.
Right.
But yeah, I know people are gonna still be going back and forth about whether this movie's canon or not. You could explain it so many different ways, but Oda was involved in the process of this film. He was a supervisor and a producer, and in that sense, maybe you could say it is canon. Maybe you could say it's canon.
I don't even think it needs to be canon or not. I think, as you said, you can't just sit back and enjoy an outing with some of your favorite characters. I think, regardless to canonical or not, this movie was really fun, boosted by a great soundtrack, great action sequences, and a pretty decent story that really celebrates everything that's really good about One Piece. I think this movie did its thing.
I think it did its thing above and beyond. It's it is like you said, you know, I really did not care about whether this movie was canon or not. I enjoyed it on its own. It's a really good movie. And it becomes better knowing that this is probably a character that we're probably going to see again in the story, in the manga. We might very well see that. Whether she's alive or not, we don't know, but I think it's an interesting bit to be excited about, to see, you know, how Oda will reference Uta again. Because Shanks, Shanks was, you could imagine Shanks feeling destroyed about Uta's fate, because he didn't want her to die. He didn't want her to die like that. So overall, you know, if you were to give it a score, what would you give it?
I give it a B plus.
B plus. Wow.
And I give it a B plus. It's a high B plus. It almost got an A minus. There were a couple of exposition dumps that I was not a fan of. And I was just like, y'all could have told this through the story, versus there were like 2 direct scenes that just felt really heavy on the
exposition.
Right. And I knock at those points. If it weren't for those, I would have given this like an A. But it's definitely a high B plus. I give it 8.91. 8.9.
Wow. Just give it the damn 9 already. My God.
Fine. I'll give it the 9. Saved by the soundtrack, and saved by
the soundtrack.
Saved by the animation. We didn't really talk about it much, but there are some sequences during the musical bits. They dabble in the 3D effect, and it's really highlighted by the colors, and it's trippy, and it's a lot of fun, those scenes. It's really enjoyed this movie as a One Piece fan, and just a fan of anime in general. And as far as Eastern animation goes, I think they knocked it out the park. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I'm gonna be a little bit more generous. Like a 9.5. The only reason it's not a perfect 10 out of 10 film, it's for those exposition bits. I feel like the whole thing with how Tope Musica works, and when they dump all the lore all at once to really get the plot moving, it was like, you maybe didn't need this, or maybe this could have been done better. But were it not for, everything else is phenomenal. Everything else phenomenal. The animation's phenomenal. The music's phenomenal. The action, the story outside of those contrived bits, the story of Uta as a character and her relationship with Shanks, and how she views pirates, and how it ties into Luffy. I thought it was perfect. I felt like Oda wrote it. I felt like Oda wrote this.
It fits right in.
Right. I'm not questioning anything about but that doesn't make sense because of this. No, not once. I don't think that. I don't think that about it at all. So 9.5 is taken off just because of those contrived little bits. But this, to me, because I haven't seen every single One Piece film, but I've seen majority of those classic films, from the 2000s. And then in terms of these new age era One Piece, the 2010 One Piece films, Strong World, Film Z, Gold, I saw Gold, and Stampede, I haven't seen Stampede, so I doubt I'm gonna think it's better. But I can confidently say this is the best One Piece film. It is. It just is. That soundtrack slaps.
It really does.
There is not. I can count on one hand the number of times of me seeing a movie where I went out and bought the song, the soundtrack to the film. The only other film that I did that for was Into the Spider-Verse. The only film that was the only one. And there you go. Film Red, second in command. Congratulations. You got another fan. But yeah, any other final thoughts on Film Red, or I guess where they're gonna keep making film One Piece movies after this.
I
They
don't
are.
think
They
they're
are.
gonna stop. Yeah,
They're not
no.
gonna stop. This was the most successful film in terms of like how much money was earned. So are there now very high bars set? Are there high expectations? Do you need a soundtrack to slap again in a new One Piece film?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't think I would hate for them to just try to match this soundtrack every time, but I think the soundtrack check mark has been checked. It's going to be really hard if they dare even try
I don't even
to
think
get
they
up
should.
there with this.
I
I
don't
don't think
think
they
they
should either. I feel each film should be unique in its own right and let that be what they're going for. If they try to
Right.
do too much, they're not going to come out on top. So I'd say be very wary on how you move forward with the One Piece films, but yeah, just make them overall enjoyable. And I mean, I will go watch them now. I will now go watch.
Now
them.
you'll buy the
After-
tickets to go to see them in theaters.
Yes, and I'll even probably go and make good on these other films that have been out and check them out and actually give them a full shot. So you have my attention, One Piece films.
You have my attention. Well, that's good. That's good.
I think so.
Because the only anime films that I don't think I've ever seen a Naruto film in theaters, unfortunately. But the only anime films I would go to theaters for, were mostly DBZ and Mugen Train. I actually think that's it. I can't think of another film that was anime that I went to the theaters for.
I think that's okay.
Actually, Yu-Gi-Oh, the good one,
Dude.
the good one, Dark Side of Dimension.
Okay.
Not
What you're
the
about to say.
movie, not the movie.
Oh man, that's a story for another day. I didn't realize 4Kids animated that shit. That was bad.
Bad, doo-doo bad.
Oh god,
Um,
yeah,
But you're right. That is a story for another day. That'll be a fun one.
sure.
But there you have it, folks. There is the Yonko Table's take on One Piece Film Red. Go check out the movie. It's currently in theaters at the time of this recording. I think you'll have a good time. If you're a One Piece fan, I feel like your expectations will be met because, I mean, I was someone coming in not expecting that good of a film, kind of like maybe an above average film, and I came out very impressed. I came out very, very impressed. And so did Grandmaster Hoop. Now he wants to watch the One Piece films. Are you gonna go back and watch some of the old ones now? Like, maybe Film Z or no?
Yeah, I watched those ones. I'm not going past.
Not the classic. Not pre Strong World.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
Yeah, not
There
going
is
that far
one
back.
film I would recommend in that batch. Only one. But I would need to look up the name. It's a fan favorite that a lot of people like.
You can recommend it. I'm not going back.
Wow, so you still wouldn't watch it. Wow.
Nope.
Basic. Either way, folks, check out One Piece Film Red. Let us know your thoughts down below if you already seen the movie. What parts did you like? What did you dislike? Were you a fan of the music? Were you a fan of Uta as a character? From your personal perspective, do you feel like she's canon enough? Do you not care about canon? And where do you think the One Piece films will go from here? I think the bar has been set really, really high. It's gonna be tough to go past this one. But let us know what you think. If you enjoyed the video or the podcast, leave a like down below, share it around with friends and family, and check us out on some of our other episodes. We're on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, Instagram at the Yonko Table. If you want to see some of our shenanigans on Twitch, check out at Dr. Jace Attorney. And if you want to see our lovely faces on YouTube, at Dr. Jace Attorney as well. Links are all in the description down below, folks. Let us know what you think, and we'll catch you on the next one. Dr. Jace Attorney, Yonko host, and Grandmaster Hoop, fellow Yonko, signing off. Take care, and we're the 6th and 7th Emperors, baby! Peace out.